Yeah, so I mean, looking at the price action now that what we've got going on, I mean, for me, if I go back to where I was with gold, so looking at the price action with gold and stuff like that. So let me put this back here. Okay, I see students come on. Welcome, guys, as you're coming in. Um, welcome, guys, as you're coming on. Good to see you. So yeah, as you can see, guys, one of the reasons why I do think we're gonna have the pullback here, I'll start. What I'll do, I'll pull the dollar index up first, as we have here, and then I'll go back to IC market. So with the dollar index, guys, if you see that there's a liquidity gap that the market left when it took off for this last long. Another thing to notice here, and it might be a little bit difficult to see, you know what I'll do? Let me just do something. Let me just pull up another chart of the dollar index here. So if I pull the dollar index here for you guys to see what's going on. So the dollar index has taken the high of last week, and also in the same spike it did in the last 4-hour session, is also taking the high of the previous week. So this is a type 1 and a type 2 weekly stop on north, right? So with that being said, which is a perfect signature for us, another thing that we need to see is that when the market took off on Friday, it left a liquidity gap that it hasn't filled out. So this pullback here that we're looking for, back down here, I don't think it's going to be a full reversal. We may get another full one. I don't expect the price to go any lower than the entry point I gave you guys from the analysis. But if the dollar index does pull short, that will mean gold will go long, Euro USD will go long, and all of the other ex-USD pairs will go long. So as I've written here, whenever the dollar index increases in price, then ex-USD pairs, now X can be gold, it can be silver, it could be Euro USD, it could be anything, AD, USD, etc. As the price of gold and stuff goes short, the dollar index will go long, or the dollar index, as it gains strength, these assets will start to drop in price. And vice versa, if the US dollar is the base currency. If the US dollar is the base currency, so we're talking USD JPY, USD CHF, when the dollar index increases in price, they also will go long. Now, the dichotomy here, which is not a big problem at all, is that the price has actually left a liquidity gap here. So this liquidity gap that was left yesterday from yesterday's PMI news at 3 p.m. puts us in a position where we should expect the price to really pull back down over here. So the price pulling back down over here should produce price action of a short, which would mean that any of the pairs, like for example, gold will be going long. As this goes down, gold will be going long because it means that the dollar is losing strength relative to other assets. Okay. So now that you have that background, let me go back to the charts here so you can see what I'm talking about. So the reason why we want gold to go long, can you guys see? We have a large liquidity gap that gold has left that is about 21.5 pips wide. Okay. So when one of the students, Isaac said that, you know, we should go for a long on gold. I agree with him 100%. Okay. Again, as you know, my only worry would be that the low of yesterday's equal lows here. These lows are a liquidity pool. So I just hope the price doesn't spike beneath these lows before it fills the gap. I hope it does just continue going long. Now, there isn't any news that I've seen that's high impact. I'll check one more time now to see. But all these pairs should be going long. All right. This is the final long left on gold before we go short. When that long does happen, then, you know, we'll be on our way. Okay. So my next point of interest for gold is 1969. Yeah. Okay. All right. 1969. So basically just beneath the low of last week. Me too. I'm with you. Right about here. Just, or the low of the previous week as well involved. Yeah, man. I'm with you, bro. So I think, you know, with the trade that Isaac's given us is a gold trade, good gold trade. I've taken on my funded accounts, I've taken Euro USD, and on this teaching account, I've taken Euro USD as well on the small lot size. I will take gold as well, and I'm expecting that gap to be filled because if you look over here, guys, Euro USD has the same sort of gap at the same time here that is left behind. And the reason why I'm in gold, just to recap for those of you who are not too sure, gold has taken the low of last week. Now, of course, the first touch beneath the low, we've had a reaction, but I'm not moved by the price pushing down further. That's just a shakeout to get you to be afraid. So if you're in Euro USD, I was in a drawdown on my funded accounts of like minus 1.5% loss. Okay, which is not a problem for me at all. But the price is definitely going to pull back up. Now, the key here is that we've got 42 minutes until the next 4-hour session. We need the body of the candle to close above this area. If the body of the candle does close beneath the low of this week, then we might get a little bit of a shaky spike, but nonetheless, we should be good to go. I'm monitoring the M1. The price has done what we need. The market's left equal highs. There's a liquidity pool over here. Just to give you some courage to stay in and not give up on Euro USD. The market's left a liquidity pool here at the top of this drop here. So this whole movement here is a Judas swing. All of this is just a Judas swing to stop traders out. And then over here is algorithmic entry, just right in this range here. So if you got in and you got into an immediate drawdown when the price came back, you shouldn't be afraid at all. You should just hang your guts in there. I hung on minus 1.5% loss. Now I'm back at break even. I have no worries at all, and I know the price will take off for a long. For me, I may just even be cheeky and just target this gap, and whatever extra I get, I might get in again, or I just leave it alone. But since the price has taken the weekly low, I do expect it to at least produce maybe about 90 pips. I'm thinking somewhere in the range for Euro USD is that. Now, I know I gave you guys Euro USD short for an entry. Don't close it, but I'm just playing the devil's advocate on the other side. So when the price gets back up about here, then we should be out. Now, another thing, guys, is that the interest rate decision for the US is tomorrow. So please be prepared for that. And this is why I like to give you guys a heads up now. So with the interest rate decision, Australia, now AUD CAD has been an annoying pair because I was in with about 4 entries and I got stopped out by the spread and then it just took off like this, which is just the most annoying thing to happen to you, but it's fine anyway. I knew the price was going to go long, but nonetheless, Australia had a very strong boost in their strength of their currency because the interest rate was expected to be the same as before, which was 3.6%, but there was a surprise interest rate hike and they've taken it up to 3.85. So that caused a bullish reaction. So if you're looking at Australian pairs and wondering why are they so strongly bullish, that's why. Now, interest rates have that power to be able to cause you to profit very quickly or lose profit very quickly. Tomorrow is expected that the interest rate decision is going to be increased. So from right now, the Federal Reserve interest rate is 5%. Is expected to go to 5.25%. It could be more, it could be the same. I don't think it's going to go down from there. I do think they'll increase interest rates. So for that reason, I want us to be prepared. Now, I'm going to go back to the dollar index for 1 second to explain what I'm talking about now. Now, today, the day is still young. There can still be action all the way until 9 o'clock this evening, until Chicago shuts and the US session is officially closed. Now, tomorrow, because we have interest rate decision, and then on Friday we also have the ADP results, and we also have the non-farm payroll on Friday. We have a melange of high impact news, the highest impact news you can possibly have in 1 week. So my idea is that the interest rate decision may end up not being the strongest reaction. NFPs might end up possibly being stronger just because of the way the price is. Now, my theory is, guys, is that once the price starts to fill this gap and pull back down to these areas, you should be prepared to be getting out of any of your counter trend positions. So for example, if you're in gold long, I'm in Euro USD long, once the price starts to fill out these gaps and is getting closer to the news time for the interest rate decision, we should be out because the price could very easily do the opposite. Now, if the price doesn't move much until tomorrow when the news comes out, then probably the news might push the price down to fill these gaps out. And we might just be in a range for a day or so. We'll see. All right. But on Friday, when we have the non-farm payrolls, that might actually just be the trigger to push the price where we expect it to go. Okay. And once the dollar index takes off, guys, I told you this movement that the dollar index is doing, you'd be so surprised how strong the dollar becomes. Okay. Right now, the dollar's played a fantastic game of hanging around $100, but it's not going to be forever. So right now, this week, we're in the last pullback for, in essence, for the year until the dollar starts to shoot through the roof. Okay. So coming back to our charts here, if you're in any of the trades that I'm in, you should be prepared for the last sets of reversals. So I'm going to do some other pairs. So if you guys want to take these trades, you can. Now, I'm not going to take these personally, unless there's an opportunity to really profit, then I won't do it. But I'm going to start first with USD JPY. So USD JPY, as the market has opened into a new month, I want to just put this here so that you can understand where I'm coming from. If you look at USD JPY from over here, we had a very strong amount of bullish pressure that came into the market. We had an induction here, which happened within this demand zone over here. So we had strong liquidity that provided this area here of price action. Now that we've come into the new month, the price has taken the high of the previous week. But because we have such a strong liquidity void, I wouldn't be surprised if USD JPY gave us a strong short. And this is why I'm looking to sell USD JPY. All right. So this is my first trade. Now I'm going to post my results here. I'm sorry, post the entries here for the trades. Now, if you look at this trend line here, guys, this is an algorithmically engineered trend line. This is the only difference is that in this position, the price actually used it to go for a long. But this trend line is very, very almost perfect, if you can see. This is algorithmically controlled price action, which means that over here, there's a very strong buy order aggregate. And that means that there's a lot of traders who are net long on USD JPY. Now, with bearing that in mind, and what the news that we're going to have probably this week, we could end up having a very strong USD JPY reversal to fill out this whole gap until the price takes the lowest swing out of these three. Once it does that, that would be an entry for a long. So USD JPY, you just took EU lot on long. Okay, brilliant. I love that. So USD JPY for the long, okay, guys, we should be looking for the price to give us a pullback here. Now, if you look at the trend itself and the formulation of it, the price is starting to have that kind of curve shape, which suggests this is chapter 1 of the course, that the directionality of the trend is starting to fade away. And we're coming from a strong bullish directional trend, and the directionality is starting to become a range. So whenever that happens, you know that sooner or later, price action is going to reverse. Okay. SL, yeah, 480. That's good. Pretty good. Let's see how it's going so far. Yeah, so far so good with USD JPY, with Euro USD. Okay, let's see what happens. So with USD JPY, guys, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good, bro. When it sweeps, get back in then. Yeah. So, I mean, looking at USD JPY, I think that USD JPY is probably one of the best trades. And to be fair, we should actually possibly get in now for a sell. It's just that I'm trying to find a nice entry for USD JPY, but I can see liquidity pools all over the place here, and I do expect the price to really give us one hell of a short. So USD JPY is on the top of my bucket list. The only thing is that we need to check for Asian news to make sure there isn't any to spike the price, because I'm just wondering if the price may want to do one more spike and take the high. But we should be in USD JPY from today, guys, because I expect it to go heavily short from tomorrow. So I'm going to give entries in a moment, and I'm going to post this in the academy because this is a brilliant trade. And the target basically is going to be beneath the low of last week. So let's be prepared for it. If you want to jump in now, it's just that obviously if you get in now, your stop loss will be 36 pips. So you're going to have a much smaller lot size than you're bargaining for. But if you want to get in already, there's no harm in doing so. Okay. Now, for me, I always like to look for the market structure break when it comes to swings. My only problem, I guess, is that with USD JPY, if I go down to the M15 time frame, the last swing low before the price took the high is actually over here, and the price has headed higher. So what we need to do is that we're going to have to, the way we can commit to this trade for sure is that we're going to have to wait for the moment when the body of the candle on the 15-minute closes beneath this swing low area here. Because if I zoom in a little bit for you guys to see what I'm talking about, if I get this swing low and drag it to the end, the market is very specific on how it behaves. If we look at the price action clearly, you'll see that the wicks of the candle close beneath the lowest swing low. So you can see it's triggered a reversal and not a continuation. But if we have a body close beneath here, then that means we have a break in market structure, and we can use that to ride for a long. So this is why I'm saying to you that USD JPY is an absolutely brilliant trade, but we still have to be slightly careful. If the price breaks structure, it will pull back for us. You know, I don't want to be like it's the end of the world, but I do know that USD JPY is going to produce us a very fantastic trade. So that's going to be my focus this week. Now, you don't really see me trade USD JPY too often, but in this case, I definitely will. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is USD CAD. We're going to have a look at that and compare. For me, USD JPY is my top pair for the week, which is strange coming from me because anyone that knows me personally knows that I'm not really a USD JPY person whatsoever, even though I've had some good trades with it. Now, the second one is USD CAD for a short as well. I do think there is an incoming short. The lows and the highs of the previous week are still intact. There's no activity there right now. If I put these two things together, if I go to the daily time frame, nothing much going on in terms of any of the highs being taken. Now, USD CAD is clearly a long, and we know the price is going to give us a very strong long, but there is room possibly for maybe one more short, providing that oil prices and stuff get affected in a good way for us in a sense. But with USD CAD, looking at the price action, there is a good opportunity to go for a short, but I think USD JPY, I want to stick to it. You know, I'll be realistic with myself, guys. As I've grown as a trader, I've realized that you can be a millionaire from one pair. It doesn't really have to be, you know, an uphill struggle and just looking at every pair. I think USD JPY is good enough. All right. Now, pound USD is also good, but because of the fundamentals on the pound, it is not something I want to trade right now. Okay, but it does have good potential. It even has the same gap that Euro USD has over here, where the market made the news and hasn't filled the gap. So it's very clearly going to be a gap. And of course, I'm comparing it with Hugo's Way, which also has a gap. So it confirms that there is truly a liquidity gap that the price needs to fill. So we should be in the right, we're all in the right direction right now, which is brilliant for us. Okay, with USD CHF, there's not much to say. It also has a gap down here. I've already given you guys the pending order entry for USD CHF. Now, I know it's a little bit of a strange one. Now, I know Toby has probably the best entry in the entire academy right now, unless you guys are going to post it, because he has an entry right down here at the absolute bottom of this trend. No matter what the price was doing, I'll never close that trade because I feel like that's a trophy for life. It's an absolute banger of a trade. So what I've got here, if I were to draw this out here, the price has done the RTO. You guys know the structure of what I'm looking at. This is the yearly stop hunt. This is the market structure break for this yearly move. And as the dollar is about to gain its final strength before the dollar starts to die a serious death, we have one more massive long on USD JPY coming in. But before that happens, we do need the price to pull back. So H4, USD CHF is slightly different in the fact that the body of the candle has already broken closed above the previous week, but it still will pull back short on a different basis. Okay, just structural basis. But I've already given you guys a pending order. You should be looking for pending orders within this demand zone. Once the price gets here, because since we had a stop hunt here, because this is still a stop hunt, we've had market structure break at the swing high here. Now we need the price to return back to origin. So we have, let's say, we have about a few pips left to go on the downside, about 90 pips, and then the price should go long. So all of you should have pending orders for USD CHF for 0.8871, around that range. And then your stop loss should be here. Now, I know the stop loss is pretty wide, guys. Unfortunately, I've kept it very wide so that everyone has room to get in. Now, if you want to be a better trader and a more accurate with your risk to reward and get a higher risk to reward, basically, you can skip down to the M15, M5, or M1 to find a very highly specific area. Now, in the case of this trade, because of the nature of it, I'm trying to make it, as very simple as possible for you guys to get in, basically. So that's really it. So now that you guys know the reason for these trades, I hope you understand why I'm looking to take USD JPY for a long. Now, if we don't get into, I'm still going to be watching this 15-minute like a hawk, because I do want to see the price, giving us our entries. And I don't want to run the risk of taking this trade now for USD JPY. I still think we could probably take it right now, to be fair, and we shouldn't be in any trouble. It's just that if the price decides to go for the high of the previous, well, it's not the previous month, but the high of March over here, just to have more liquidity or more orders to stop out, we may see that also, because the price is not too far away. It's 47 pips away, so the price may do that. All right, but I want to even finish this session as quickly as possible. I'm just going to go through the news for a few minutes, and then after we'll call it a session. All right, let me pull this up here. Let's go to FX Street over here. Let's go over here. So with FX Street, really remember, guys, I always want to use the news as a way to map out when entries are most likely going to happen, but it's not my foundational analysis. It's just that the liquidity that will provide the massive moves we're looking for is helpful and healthy to use the news to find out where. So what I'm going to do right now, guys, I'm going to go to this week. Let's have a look at what we've got happening. And then I'm going to post USD JPY's analysis going forward. All right, so Monday, we've had our news here. Tuesday, we've had the news so far. Okay, there's no more high impact news for today. It looks like, apart from the NZD news, which in terms of practicalities is actually the new market days happening in tomorrow's market in a sense, even though it's today for us. But it will happen at 11:45. Okay, we'll have New Zealand dollar news, which could cause the New Zealand dollar to probably go long, depending on the positive news, or if it's negative, we'll go short. All right. Wednesday night for us, 12:30, we have retail sales. And then we also have the ADP news, which is the precursor to NFPs, because 60% of the American Department of Payrolls, okay, they account for 60% of all the payrolls in the American economy. So not saying that this figure is something to always use, because sometimes the NFPs and the ADP is completely different in terms, one is positive, one is negative, but it is a good measure to see what happens. If this is positive, we may have a positive NFP news too. There is a possibility of that. All right. So at 1:15, we'll have that news. Now, this news always catches everyone because it's at an awkward time, because usually news is at 1:30, 12 o'clock, 12:30, those kind of 30-minute pass. There's not too many pieces of news that are on the 15-minute pass. So this used to get me anyway, guys, where sometimes I'll be trading, it's 1:15. I don't think anything of it because there's never usually any news at that time. And then the market will do a crazy spike in the way that I don't want. And I'm just wondering what's going on. Or sometimes in my favor. So don't forget tomorrow that we have this news at 1:15 p.m. GMT time. All right, we have the ISM news and, of course, the dreaded moment of the interest rate decision. And not just that, but there is a speech as well. So from 7 till 9 into the next day, guys, the market is going to be absolutely crazy. So please make sure you cover your risk. Make sure that you're risk managing appropriately. Don't get crazy, even though there's amazing trades out there. All right. And if you're a funded trader, especially, guys, make sure you take care of your trading. All right. Now, I know some of you have requested a robot as well. And you want to be a part of the group and stuff. I'll deal with every single one of you and make sure that you guys are good. So you can use it for your prop firms in the future and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be working on building our trading manually as well as an academy. Let's not forget to trade manually too. All right. So Thursday, we have Canadian dollar news, primarily, and European news. We also have the interest rate decision for the euro. So Euro USD, guys, be careful on it. I'll give you guys a heads up on what's going on. If I see that Euro USD is going to absolutely, if you already feel the gap and is, very close to the entry where we started from for the sell, then we, we'll have to just watch out to make sure, what's going on there. All right, Friday, we have the monetary policy statement for May. And then we have the NFP. So this week is very jam-packed. This is the most busy week of the month and probably one of the busiest weeks in this year. So let's be prepared to really make some profit, guys. And yeah, if there's any questions, guys, send it in the group, send it in the chat, make comments. All right. And we'll come back again. I'm going to post our USD JPY's analysis right now, and I'll catch all of you guys later. So everybody take care and have a great day. And thanks for coming on, guys. Good to see you.